These are my thoughts on the Winnie the Pooh Lego set. Let's talk about it. G'day everyone and welcome back to the first investment review of 2023, and we're starting off with the Winnie the Pooh set number 21326. Now if you've seen my previous investment videos, this is going to be pretty much very similar. So we're going to go over the different signs and factors which are the major ones which are going to determine whether if this set is going to be a good investment or not. So essentially, if we were to buy this set and sit on it for 18 months, 2 years, however long, is it going to be a good investment? So we're going to look at all the key factors and try and determine if it will be or if it will not be. So some of the factors we will be going over, I've got it all written down in my book, is going to be stuff like the shelf life, the supply, the demand, the collectability, the minifigures, and all that jazz. So I've got about 13 or so key factors and signs we're going to be going over. Obviously some are more important than others. So let's get started with just a brief overview of the set. So obviously it is part of the LEGO Ideas theme of LEGO sets. It is Winnie the Pooh. It has 5 minifigures, and that's the set number, as we said, 21326, and it does have 1,265 pieces. Now the retail price for this set in Australia, as you can see, is 160. In the US it is 100, and in the UK it is 90 pounds. One of the first things I like to look at is just when the set was released to when it's going to be retiring, to how long it was out for. It can play a factor, it definitely can, but sometimes it may not. Like have a look at the Disney Castle, for example, was out for a good chunk of time and it's going crazy on the aftermarket already after just retiring. So sometimes the shelf life can play a big factor into why a set does do well post-retirement, and sometimes it really doesn't matter. That's why supply, demand, and collectability comes into it. But starting off with shelf life, this set was released, as you can see, in April of 2021. Now this was actually supposed to be retiring last year, but it did get pushed back until the end of this year. So by the time it does retire, which will be the 31st of December 2023, it would have been out for 2 years and 9 months. So that is a little bit above average for LEGO Ideas. They're usually out for kind of around a year and a half, 2 years on average. It doesn't matter too much. Now, I'm not going to be giving like ratings out of 10 or anything like that. I'm just going to be giving just letting you guys know if it's going to be good or if it's not too good. But 2 years, 9 months shelf life, it's okay. It's not too bad. So we don't really have to stress about the shelf life. If it got pushed back again, well then yeah, because there is other things we need to touch on with this set. So shelf life, 2 years, 9 months. Next, I like to go and have a look at the minifigures. So that's when we go over to Bricklink. So you go to Bricklink, chuck in the set number, it'll bring you up to this thing, and you can see item consists of 5 minifigures. Let's go and have a look, because minifigures can definitely be a key factor into why a set does well post-retirement, and also for the demand of the set. So this does have 5. We're going to have a quick look at them. Eeyore. Now all these minifigures are exclusive. That is another key factor, but they are exclusive. Let's have a look. So last 6 months, so this figure is currently selling for around $12. So not too bad. Piglet, we'll scroll down, is about $10 to $11. We do have Rabbit, who is about the same, $10 to that $11 price range. Then we do have Tigger, who's about $13 to $14 fig. And then finally, Winnie the Pooh, who is about a $13 fig. So they're all definitely in the same ballpark around that value. I have added it up and it come to a little bit over about $60 for the total value of these minifigures. So the fact that there is 5, they are all exclusive, and the total value is $60 in Australia, comparing that to the retail price of $160. So obviously it is kind of roughly about a third. It's not exactly a third. It's a little bit better than a third of the retail value of the set, but it is definitely good for these figures to be exclusive and the value that they are at. I'm going to touch on these minifigures as well when we get to the chance of a re-release and that type of stuff, because I do want to mention that. So we've looked at the shelf life, we've looked at the minifigures. Now I'd always just like to just do kind of an overview of the collectability. Is the set going to be collectible or not? It is a one of a kind. This is the only LEGO Winnie the Pooh set. Now the reason why I say it like that is because there actually is some other sets surrounding Winnie the Pooh. It's not LEGO though, it is Duplo. So if we typed in Winnie the Pooh on Bricklink, we can see that the Winnie the Pooh here, LEGO Ideas, and there is some other ones that have popped up because they are Duplo. They're LEGO Duplo. So they are technically LEGO, but they are the Duplo sets, and there is quite a few of these, as you can see. I'm not going to touch on any of these, but I'd just like to make that clear that this is the first and only official LEGO Winnie the Pooh set. So it definitely has that going for it, collectible wise, that it is the only Lego set. Now, besides that, it is very iconic. Pretty much everyone has heard of Winnie the Pooh at some point, whether if you've seen, like, obviously the movies or you've read the books. They were the first thing that come out. So it does have that, and the fact that it does have exclusive minifigures. Winnie the Pooh, I've just got a brief history up here. So it was first published in 1926, meaning that come 2026, so in 3 years, it's going to have its 100th anniversary. And that's why I was kind of just touching about the minifigures before, about possibly a chance of a re-release, whether it's some minifigures or another set. The fact that in 2026 there will be the 100th anniversary of Winnie the Pooh, not to say that they will, but there is a possibility, because that is that special celebration. You never know, they could do another set revolving around Winnie the Pooh, or they could release, like the blind bag, the minifigures. They could come out with them. I don't think there is enough characters to do that, but you never know. But just keep that in mind, that Winnie the Pooh first came out in 1926, so it's been around for just about 100 years, so it's been around for a long time. Everyone's heard of it, so it is very collectible. But just keep in mind that 100th anniversary could mean that Lego maybe could collab with them and do another type of set. But collectability, it is very collectible. I also do like to look at the value on the secondary market for these sets. So what is it currently selling on stuff like Bricklink, on stuff like eBay, Amazon? Because if a set is selling for like kind of around the retail price or even above, that is definitely a good sign. So let's go and have another look. We are going to go back to Bricklink, and we can see that the Australian value is sitting in about 122 bucks that these have sold for. So that's about $40 below retail. And on eBay, we can see that in the green numbers here, there is obviously you got some for retail, 110, 155, 150. I'm just going to scroll through. I'm not going to read them out, but just so you can see them there. So a majority of them are selling for below that retail price. So no surprises there that this set is kind of selling for around these numbers. So it's nothing that jumps out at me to go, ooh, this is something we need to be looking at, because it's doing already quite well. That is usually for sets that are pretty tricky to get and the supply is quite low, is when they start to sell above retail before they have retired. But this set is definitely not one of them, and we'll talk about supply very soon. I also just like to touch about the affordability of the set. So how affordable is the set if we wanted to obviously stock up on them immensely and go deep on them? So 160 bucks for the retail price. Obviously, we don't want to be paying that. We want to be paying at least 20% below. But usually 160 bucks, it is usually above that overall average I like to go. I usually go about 150 bucks is about that average Lego set that I do invest in price-wise. I go from high to low. But usually around that $150 sign is about kind of the average I like to gauge it at. So it is around that price. So it is definitely a set that you can go, 10, 20 deep on if you wanted to. Obviously, if that is in your budget, which for that would be, if I was to go deep into this set, 10 or 20 of them, I definitely could afford, and it's in my price range to do so. So the affordability, it's fine. No issues there. Then I like to touch on the box size of the set. Now, the box size is going to play a big factor into storage. That is a main thing. It's going to play a big factor into storage, and also postage costs. If you do sell this set on, obviously, eBay, Amazon, how much is it going to cost to post? So I have written this down. So it is about 1.26 kilograms, whatever that is in pounds. The box is 38 centimeters by 26 by 6.75 centimeters. So here in Australia, if you were to, not including the box and the tape and all those resources to pack it, but the postage cost is going to cost you $16.65 to post this set, which is fine. There is obviously bigger sets do cost a lot more to post, in like $30, $40 range, but 16 bucks to post it, that is fine. Just keep that in mind when you do go to sell this set. But that is what it's currently sitting at. So the box size, it's not the biggest, it's quite small. It's usually around yay big, the box size is. So no issues, not going to take up too much storage if you did buy 5, 10, 20 of these sets. It is quite a relatively smaller size box, so that is all good. The next thing I do like to have a look at is the theme itself. So obviously this theme will be Lego Ideas, and if we go to Bricklink, I do have this filtered by every Lego idea ever released just by year. Now Lego Ideas, like it is a great theme. It's got a majority of your one-off different type of sets and stuff, but it does have its hits and misses, so you got to be very wary. So stuff like the pop-up book, trash, Flintstones, at least here in Australia, trash. It's barely even moved up in value. I think either one or even both of the Ship of the Bottles haven't done quite well. So you do have your hits and your misses, but then it does obviously have your hits. So your stuff like your Wally, Big Bang Theory, Doctor Who, they've done not too bad, especially the Wally. And the Old Fishing Store is doing quite well. I think that's already doubled in value. So it does have hits and misses, so you do have to be wary, but the theme overall, there's nothing wrong with LEGO Ideas. It is very popular, and it is just growing and growing every single year. It is gaining traction. People are starting to love the LEGO Ideas, and they're releasing more and more sets every year because it is a fantastic theme. Then after this, I do like to have a look at the chance of a re-release. So what is the chance that this set is going to be re-released? Now, obviously, LEGO Ideas do have a history of re-releasing sets. So, sets like the Ship in the Bottle, for example, and the NASA Apollo, we can see them here. And if we go to the next page, you can see that there is different set numbers here because they did re-release them. So, they do have a history of re-releasing sets. However, these ones don't have your official license like Winnie the Pooh or your Sesame Street or your Big Bang Theory. So, will LEGO Ideas re-release this set? No, they're not going to re-release it. This is it. But will they potentially release a different Winnie the Pooh set? They could. As I did say, there is that 100th anniversary coming up in the next 3 years. So there is a possibility they could release another set. It is part of the LEGO Ideas theme and how they do obviously go about the design process and then the picking process of the LEGO sets. It is a very low chance they will, but there is that possibility. But I do not believe they are going to be especially re-releasing this set, so there is no issues there in my opinion. Then we always like to have a look at comparable set performance with LEGO sets. So a few of them that I've come up with, obviously in the LEGO Ideas range, you've got your Flintstones, you've got your Big Bang Theory, your Doctor Who, those type of smaller sets based around a licensed theme. And then obviously you do have your Sesame Street, but that is only just retired, so we don't know how that is going to perform either. But definitely keep your eye on the Sesame Street and we'll just see how that performs in the next 6 months and try and tee that up. We'll see if it's going to do anything similar like the Winnie the Pooh. But these sets, the Flintstones did retail in Australia for 100. As you can see, according to Bricklink numbers, it has barely moved, as I did touch on. The Big Bang Theory was retailed for $90 in Australia, and you can see it's around 287, so that has performed definitely well. And then the likes of Doctor Who, which was an $80 set, is now worth $200, so that has a little bit more doubled. Now, as I said, supply and demand do play a factor into these sets performing well, and it's not 100% to be comparing these to the Winnie the Pooh, but just do some research on all your different LEGO Ideas sets, ones that could be kind of similar to your Winnie the Pooh, and see if there is any similarities to how they performed, and if there's possibility that Winnie the Pooh could be performing similar, which is like those three here. So you do have ones that have performed terribly and your ones that have performed pretty great. Next, we are going to be touching on two of the most important factors. These are the most important factors you need to be researching. These are 1 and 2 without doubt, and that is supply and demand. So we're going to be having a look at supply first. So how do we find out the supply? So we need to know how much of this set is out there for sale. So obviously the first thing we want to do is see what retailers do stock this set, and if it is an exclusive to the LEGO store or if it is an exclusive to a particular retailer. That is usually what we do want. This set, however, as we can see, is available at lego.com, is available obviously at Amazon. It is available here in Australia at Target, at Toys R Us, at Kmart. I've also written down here it's available at Big W online and at Myer, and I believe at David Jones as well. They're just some of the ones that I did find. There is plus your other different toy shops as well. So this set is widely available, which means there is going to be a good chunk of supply of this set, and I've never really seen it out of stock. It is usually in stock, so that means that there would be a good chunk of supply for this set, and that's not really what we want. We want the low supply, which means it's harder to get, because obviously the harder it is to get, the less of it there is going to be out there. So the fact that it is widely available at majority of retailers is not the best sign. Another thing you can look at is the how much stock there is on eBay and Amazon and places like that, and obviously on Bricklink. On eBay worldwide, at least from what I can see, there is 83 results, and if we do filter this for Australia only, we do have 40 results total. So that is, I'd say, kind of around average for this size Lego set on eBay. And then you can go back to Bricklink. We'll go to this one here, and you can see current items for sale. This is worldwide, by the way, 778 with 246 lots. So there is a good chunk of supply for this set, which is definitely not what we want. So just be mindful of that. The other thing we want to look at is, as I pointed out, the demand of the set, how much of this set is selling. On Bricklink, this actually quite shocked me. 19. That is very, very low. I thought this set would be a lot higher. So take for example the Sesame Street. That set actually had over, I believe it was like over 130 sold on Bricklink. So, very interesting that this set has quite low demand on Bricklink. And then you can obviously have a look on it. We'll go back to the eBay sold. Filter this, you can see 22 were sold, and that one is Australia only. And then if we just go default, we can see that 118. So there is definitely better demand for it on eBay. Bricklink, yes, it is popular, but it's not that popular compared to your other places that do sell sets, especially like eBay. And another thing you can look at is just pay attention to your retailers. Is it always in stock? Is it out of stock all the time? Is it harder to get? And what is the limit on the Lego store? As I said, this set, it's always in stock. So that could either mean that the supply is very high or that there isn't much demand for the set. So supply and demand for this set, to be honest, it's not that great from an investment standpoint, at least here in Australia. I can't speak for other countries like the US and UK, but the supply for this set seems high in Australia and the demand doesn't seem that great here in Australia. So just be mindful. A couple of other signs you can look at is stuff like the part out guide and the price per piece. These aren't obviously that important, but it's just another thing just to have just written down when building a hit list. Part out value, US wise, $183 for the average of last 6 months sales. Current items for sale is around 250. I like to round it up a little bit more, so we'd probably say about $190 US, which is 270 Australian, and UK 154 pounds. So that means if you were to open this set and sell them pieces individually for what they are averagely worth on Bricklink, you're gonna get about $270 in Australian dollars, which is obviously more than what it does retail for, which is always the case, but you want it at least double, which it is not. So again, and then I do always like to have a look at the price per piece. I'm going to get the calculator up so you can see, where are we? There we are. And all we do for this is we do the retail price, which is 160, and we divide it by the amount of pieces, which is 1265, and that brings it out to around 12.6 cents. So you can round it up and say 13 cents per piece, which that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The price per piece is quite decent for this set for what you're paying for it. But those are just some of the key factors that you do want to be researching when investing in this set. Now, finally, what are my overall investment thoughts? This set definitely does have a lot going for it in the ways of collectability. The shelf life is fine. Obviously the minifigures and how exclusive it is. The size of the box, which is great for storage, and just the overall look of the set. It looks great. The thing that does worry me is the supply and demand when I was actually doing deep research into this set. It is quite worrying, if I'm being honest. Will I be buying these? Yes, I will be buy them, but I'm not going deep on them. There is no way I'm feeling confident, at least at this stage, to go deep on this set. But this is just my opinion. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I always leave that in the description. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to go and buy a million of these sets, go for it. Me personally, I'll be buying a handful, and that's it, because there is definitely other sets that have a lot lower supply and a lot better demand that I'd rather put my money in. But I do love this set. It is fantastic, and I will be buying a few, but I'm not going deep on it. but let me know your thoughts down below. And if you guys did enjoy the investment review coming back in 2023, please smash a like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be doing at least one a fortnight. I'll try and do one per week, but at least one a fortnight. And obviously, if you did comment on any of the videos previously for investment review, I will get to those ones, and I will try and pump them out one per week because there is a lot of sets we have to go over. But as I said, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.